On top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. Let's get to the news in detail. Oil supermajor Exxonmobil has finally bowed to investor pressure to start reporting on an annual basis Scope 3 emissions, a category of emissions it has evaded disclosing for many years. This follows a plan it announced last month to reduce its emissions by certain specified periods. To many climate activists and climate-conscious investors, Exxon's additional reporting provides a truer representation of the impact of ExxonMobil's work on the global environment. ExxonMobil disagrees. And now let's tell you, in its bid to pursue a gas-to-shore project, the government of Ghana must first ensure that the venture is an affordable one, so said Chatham House Associate Fellow Dr. Valerie Marcel. During an exclusive interview with other industry stakeholders, Dr. Marcel said it is clear from the inception that Ghana did not expect to find as much gas as it did in the Starbuck Block. Hence, there is a common interest among ExxonMobil and its partners, along with the government, to bring the gas to shore. The industry experts stressed, however, that the big question that has to be answered relates to the affordability of bringing the substantial resource to shore and whether Ghana can have all the relevant mechanisms in place to ensure the project was efficient. And now let's tell you Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo is in agreement with criticisms of the tax regime of the Starbuck Block production sharing agreement. This agreement was granted to ExxonMobil and its partners by former Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman. Despite commitments to revising that regime for other petroleum agreements, Jagdeo did not commit to improving the Starbuck Block tax regime, which governs the handling of Guyana's 9 billion oil equivalent barrels. And now let's tell you, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck the world, Guyana was forced to seek financial aid to cope with the unprecedented health and economic crisis. With aims of combating the pandemic in Guyana, the Inter-American Development Bank had approved a $22 million loan. This is not the only loan. In total, Guyana would have stretched its hands for some $61 million in COVID aid. It contrasts sharply with the giveaway of a whopping $600 million in tax exemptions to oil companies in 2019. These and other startling details were revealed by the Auditor General in his audit report of 2019. And now let's tell you the US FBI is assisting the Guyana Police Force in its efforts to solve the gruesome triple murders of the Berbice teens, 17-year-old Harish Singh, and the Henry cousins, 16-year-old Joel and 19-year-old Isaiah. In fact, Crime Chief Wendell Blanham said yesterday that the FBI has already begun the process of assisting police with certain aspects of the investigation. He added that the U.S. law enforcement agency would be providing technical assistance to the GPF, which does not require their physical presence in Guyana. Meanwhile, the Minister of Public Infrastructure, Juan Edgell, is debunking claims of former Minister David Patterson that the new asphalt plant at Garden of Eden on the east bank of Demerara is fully operational. Patterson had released a scathing statement condemning the finding of a special audit into the project, which revealed a number of damning issues relating to the management of the plant. The plant had fallen under Patterson's watch while the coalition government was in office. However, contrary to the claims of Patterson that he was reliably informed that the plant was fully operational, Minister Edgell said that the plant is still a work in progress. He explained that several aspects of the work had to be rechecked by a German engineer before the system was tested last December. And moving on, Canford Downer, the man who allegedly burnt his wife and children, burnt his wife and children alive last December, today made his first court appearance. The defendant, who was at the Bartica Magistrates Court, appeared virtually before Magistrate Crystal Lambert in the Breedenhoop Magistrates Court. He was not required to plead to the indictable offense, which alleged that on December 12, 2020, at 4 Mile Squatting Area, he murdered Caroline Kennedy and their 2 daughters during the course or furtherance of arson. The defendant is expected to make his next court appearance on January 27, 2021. According to information, Downer was hospitalized at the Bartica Regional Hospital and was being treated for injuries he sustained during the fire. After spending almost 4 weeks in the hospital, he was on Monday discharged and taken into custody. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping